Yo, 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 yo. What up, everybody? What's up, everyone? What's up? Thought I would do a stream. What's happening, ACDC? What's happening, everybody? Earl is in the house. Let me clean my glasses off. Hope you all are doing well. I'm doing good. New Year so far has been pretty good. Nothing too crazy, but pretty good. There we go. There we go. Got some OGs in the house. Hopefully not too many trolls in here tonight. I'm not in the mood to talk to the trolls. You know, some nights I'm in the mood. Sharks are not as bad as they seem, but, you know, they're a couple of years away from being, you know, competitive. One take, baby. Chris Neff in the house. I don't fuck around. On I'm Dying up here, they called me One Take Jake. So, you know, I'm blessed with a great memory, and because I don't, you got to learn how to spell before you troll, London. That helps. I mean, you guys who come at me early and then you misspell the zinger. Yeah, I mean, you know, I've got some good, the Swedish kid too. Got a great goalie, and Askarov, the Russian. You know, that's a tough one. It's a draw. I got to be honest with you. It's a draw. So, you know, that's the way the NHL is. You got to be bad to be good. I mean, remember the Red Wings, you know, what did they make the playoffs like 25 years in a row? But I remember the Red Wings before that 25th or 25-year run. They were fucking horrible, man. So, you know, you have to thought on Justin Baldoni suing New York Times. I mean, that's getting real ugly. I mean, you know, she got the receipts, and you know, now there's a question legally. Yeah, I mean, Annie misspells the joke. You know, it's like unbelievable. There's a question legally of if she had the right to. How did she get those DMs and text messages? So that is going to get real ugly. And the crazy thing is, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Bedard is on such a bad team. I mean, I'll always go with the bigger player. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you know, I haven't really followed it that much, and so hi, I'm Cloud the Animal. What up, Cloud? I'm a cartoon voiceover actor. Let's make some money, honey. Yeah, horrible thing in New Orleans. You know, usually me and Chris Neff are the first to write a too soon joke, but I mean, I remember was it the Vegas shooting? You know, I went on stage that night and was doing jokes about it. And then you got the Vegas thing where the Tesla, or not, yeah, the Cybertruck blew up. I mean, it's gonna be a wild 4 years with, Trump's got a lot of people who love him, but he's got probably an equal amount of people who don't like him. What up, Kale in the house? So, and Moses, the scary thing is when I would do the stream on my iMac, there was only about 10 regular people. So, for some reason, and I believe William Zoom has told me that um, YouTube pushes the vertical format more. So, you know, I'm just trying to figure it out still. But I have doubled the size of my channel in less than a year. So, I'll take that. I think last year I was at about 1,250 subs, and now I'm, I think, 2,900. So, so can you wear contacts? Yeah, but I like my, I have a stigmatism in this eye, but I don't mind my glasses. I kind of like them. I know on the stream, whoa. I know in the stream it's a little annoying to get the glare of my shades, but you know what? Go to someone else's stream who doesn't wear glasses. If you don't like how Earl does it. Do you have any shows? Yeah, I've got a show at the Comedy Store Saturday night. My usual 12:15 close it out spot, and I don't know what Mitzi Shore said. I never really got to meet her. I mean, I was in the room with her once, and it wasn't pleasurable just because she wasn't in the best health at that time. I like Cobra Kai. Peter Chicken Man Brennan. I know, water, no more energy drinks. No, I'm just kidding. I will drink energy drinks till my heart explodes, which is probably sooner than later. And wouldn't some of you be happy about that? Yeah, Cobra Kai. I mean, I know it sounds horrible, but it's not that bad. I like Cobra Kai, although I do think it's a little long in the tooth at this point. I mean, I think they've really explored all you can with this current cast. I did like the tall guy, the new bad guy, one of the new bad guys. The Swedish kid, I guess. I like the Asian bad guy. Funny, I met the Asian bad guy. He was in West Hollywood taking a meeting at this restaurant I was at, and it was really nice. You could tell he's like overwhelmed, like, oh my God, people are coming up to me. I mean, I don't know what more you could do with Cobra Kai. I think Whitney's funny. I mean, she don't get it. You talk about someone who doesn't give a fuck. Um, and there's really, I think, part of the great thing about Cobra Kai was the nostalgia aspects of it. They'd bring back like Chosen and Terry Silver and Martin Cove, but there's really no one left for them to bring back. They brought Sean Barnes, karate's bad boy. I mean, really the only guy that I would kind of mark out if they brought back, and he really wasn't even that big of a part of Karate Kid, was the gay dude from Revenge of the Nerds, the black guy, Larry B. Scott, because he was Cobra Kai in the very first Karate Kid, and he had, I think, one very quick fight scene. So that'd be kind of cool to see him in it, but I don't know what the storyline would be. I don't know. People ask me all the time about flat Earth, and I just don't. I don't think there is a flat Earth. Yeah, don't put me in the same category as Eddie Bravo. I mean, I think I'm a little higher up the comedy food chain than Eddie Bravo. No offense to him or Tripoli, but and Eddie Bravo would say the same thing if I was in a jiu-jitsu tournament. But by all accounts, Eddie Bravo's very nice. I've actually never met him. So, of course, we've been at the Comedy Store the same time, but I've never met Eddie Bravo, so but I got no problem with him. But he doesn't really do stand up. He just kind of gets up there and bullshits. 25 2025 predictions for Dante. He still won't be working other than sea-level Indian casinos. Callan will, he works. Jeff will work more than ever. And I don't know who Julie Benz is. I mean, that's the crazy thing about Callan and Jeff is like they work more than ever, especially Jeff. I mean, if I'm the head of a network, and listen, at this point, whether allegations are true or not, I don't want that stigma on my show. I would reach out to Jeselnik. I mean, Jeselnik's 100 times better. But, Jeff's like, you kind of admire him, and the guy works constantly. How did you get a rep for, I don't know, you're out of control, dude. Do you know of Matan Evans? Yeah, a lot of people have said I should go on that show. But, I reached out to him once. What do I think of Hans Kim? Thank you very much. Yeah, but the stigma, bro, is around him. And, from what most people, most New York comics told me that it was an open secret. Now, they're not all lying, but, I'm just saying, if I'm head of Netflix and there's a roast show going, I'd contact Jason. Like, the guy has no skeletons. So there's no bullshit. And there's no, you read half the comments of any video Jeff is in, it's all bringing up, isn't he, you're not going to get that with Jason. Like, I mean, what do I think of Hans Kim? I mean, nice guy. Would I want to see him do an hour? No, but he probably, doesn't want to see me do an hour. He's a Kill Tony comic. I mean, that's part of the problem with, someone like Hans Kim is that he's perfect for Kill Tony. And he's got a lot of help on Kill Tony. You've got, like I said many times before on this stream, you've got a band, Tony, Red Band, sound effects, and 3 celebrity comics, or celebrities, Tucker Carlson or whoever, helping you out in your 1 minute of stand-up. So, the problem is you get a following from Kill Tony, and then a club will headline you when you don't have 10 minutes because they see 100,000 followers on Instagram, headline them. And then, they go through that 10 minutes in about 3 minutes, literally, because you're fucking scared. And, then you got to be on stage for another 57 minutes. And you probably don't have the skills to, it's going to be a long night. And you probably got to do 2 shows. So if you got, it's just, are you friendly with Jay Moore? Not really. I mean, I met him at Ralphie May's memorial, and Jay was crying, so I showed him my dick picture. So, it made him laugh. But other than that, I've never really interacted with him. But Jason, like, my point is like he has no fuck. He's actually a really nice guy. I've talked to him about fashion and whatnot. But Kill Tony would only take you so far. Look at Lucas. Yeah, I mean, if you look at David Lucas, he's funny on the show, I guess. He's doing like a Patrice O'Neill light. But, you look at that one clip of him. Of course, it's only one clip, but, where he did the George Floyd joke and he walked half the room and he just didn't have the recovery skills to get them back. Like, I've got save lines and, they're hacky, some of them, but, I know if I lose, I tell some jokes that could lose the room. I have a Michael Jackson joke. What good comic doesn't? Where I have to say the F word, and I mean, it rhymes with bag, And 99 times out of 100, the joke does very well. But there have been one or two times where maybe there's a bunch of gay dudes in front, and they're like, I don't like that word you using it, F you. But I got a save line for it. So, I don't think David, he's not quite there yet. And a lot of those Kill Tony comics aren't that. Um, I mean, you got to do comedy for a long time before you have a good hour. When you headline a club, it's not just doing an hour, like physically doing it. It has to be good with very few, um, soft spots in it. Because you're doing two shows a night. And if you're really popular, like some of those Kill Tony comics are, I mean, there's no denying that. You're going to be doing three shows on Saturday, usually 7, 9:30, and a midnight show. So good luck with that. Um, Is there any male more annoying than I don't know. I don't really watch Jimmy Fallon, so he's not too annoying to me. White, the Michael Jackson joke that Stutcho helped you, right? Yeah, it is. Yeah, but that's Kevin doing shtick. I mean, you don't play arenas and suck at stand up. Um, I mean, I give him more than a minute. I mean, I had someone else tell me about some Kill Tony comic. Oh my God, he's a star. He's so funny on the show. I'm like, he barely can get through 1 minute of stand up with all that help. It's like I saw a similar effect with roast battle comics where they would, none of them. I was lucky because at roast battle I had 15 years of stand up in me. And so I was ready for the opportunity. As soon as I got back from LA or from Montreal, I was asked to headline many um, things. But I had 15 years of stand up. Roast Battle Comics, they had 1, 2, 3 years in. They'd maybe done LA headlining, which is like 10 minutes at the end of a show. And, they just weren't ready. So they'd start bombing, and then they'd roast they'd roast the crowd. And I would tell them when we were on shows together, because I would do that, but I was doing well. It's like, dude, and sometimes it was a girl. The crowd doesn't want to hear you roast them if you've fucking been bombing in front of them for 5 or 10 minutes. And they're like, well, you did it. I'm like, yeah, but I wasn't bombing, brother. Do I think William Montgomery is funny? I mean, yeah, it's funny for 5 minutes to me, and then it's like, do I want to watch that for an hour? Absolutely not. He's like Larry the Cable Guy. Get her done. And then after 5 minutes, it's like, okay, I want to hear jokes. But he's doing fine. I mean, I don't know long term how any of those guys are going to work out, but I got to worry about myself. Do I feel better? Do I feel good for the success of other comics? If they're good people, like Chappelle Lacey, I love. I'm very happy for him. Um, I mean, I just think that Kill Tony's not necessarily about stand-ups. It's about characters. David Lucas was the fat black guy. William Montgomery's the country bumpkin. Hans Kim is, like a Bobby Lee, Jr., I guess. So you too, Casey, you too. So, Kill Tony's the new Gong Show. What I mean by that is, I don't think there's too many older people in here, but when I was a kid, and I'm 56, there's a show called The Gong Show, which was a talent show, and it was funnier when the talent was bad, because then that gave the judges room to play off them and make fun of them, and these people weren't in on the joke. And I don't think a lot of the Kill Tony comics are in on the joke. Like, we're not laughing with you, we're laughing at you. Now, some don't care, but so. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Um, but I mean, Tony's good at bullying these open micers because they're not going to fight back. Very few have fought back because they want to be on the show next week. So it's really great for Tony. Whatever happened to just being funny? I mean, that's what I'm trying to do, but it's not. Um, it's not really important to a lot of people. Um, am I happy for the success of Tony? I mean, yes and no. I mean, Tony is like a little brother to me. I've known him since he worked at Starbucks. He was cocky when he worked there. I can tell you a lot of people aren't, because he's been a dick to a lot of people. And like he probably doesn't care. But one day Kill Tony will not be that popular and he's gonna have to kind of, he'll probably never walk with his tail between his legs, but he's gonna need help. And people are gonna be like, so, but that's on him, I guess. Yeah, I mean, is that the one Bichetti was on? Oh, I don't know. I mean, I can't speak for Jeselnik, but um, I mean, I respect. I mean, listen, I was on one of the first Kill Tonys, I think, with Michael Costa, and I remember it was so bad. There was maybe 25 people in the belly room, and I'm talking comics, audience, and the panel. And I remember about halfway um, in the show, I like leaned over to Costa and like, this show sucks. So I respect Tony and Red Band. I mean, Red Band's the all-star in that show. I mean, when you look at Red Band, he helped Rogan with his podcast. He helped Tom and Christina with It's Your Mom's House. And he's really the brains behind Kill Tony. I mean, that's three of the most successful podcasts in the last 20 years. And Red Band's a common denominator. Well, I think there's just fewer female comics out there. It's like black hockey players. There's maybe 20% of hockey players in the NHL are black. So a good black hockey player stands out because he's only one of 20% of the 100% that are playing. And it's the same thing with the female comic. I would say men to women ratio. It's better now. It's probably 70-30, but back in the 80s, it was probably 85-15. So you really stood out if you were good or bad. So, that's, in my opinion, the reason. I don't know. I don't watch Tom's podcast, so um, I can't say. Jeremiah Watkins is so underrated. He's too funny. Um, that I wouldn't know, Chicken Man. I mean, I don't. There's a lot of funny people out there who should be famous. Shit, I'm probably one of them, but. It's just the way the business works. There's a lot of unfunny people who are successful. They hit a show like Kill Tony, they get a following, and they run with it. I mean, some of the funniest comics I know, you guys have never heard of. So I mean, that's just and that goes even with some of the people who have Netflix specials. They have good managers. And that's it's just the game. Oh, I've dealt with. I was on Prozac maybe about 20 years ago, and I was dating this girl. The best body I've ever seen on a woman. Like skinny and like I would say whatever the size above double D is. So triple D or like just net skinny, but like natural. And I could barely get it up because the Prozac really inhibits you down there. Um, so, well, I mean, we all sell out. I mean, if Bud Light offered me to be their spokesperson, I absolutely would. So yeah, it's a depressing business, comedy. It really is. I mean, when you think about it. And, I also get the double rejection of voiceover gigs. Because I'm in a category, booming deep baritone, where there simply just aren't a lot of people auditioning. So the people I go up against are either famous or they're in my like name category. We all work. So, I go up against the same 10 people for every gig. Um, so, I don't know. I have no idea if he is or not. Well, I think Shane Gillis is likable because um, he's really that nice. Like it's very genuine, and I think he got a lot of sympathy for, kind of getting fired off of SNL before he even got really to work on it. I think that got him a lot of like fans, like fuck SNL. Um, so, um, and he's likable. I mean, that's huge. Where as you look at someone like say David Lucas, David's just not likable. Like he's been a dick to a lot of people. You can be a dick like Hinchcliffe, but you got to be successful like Hinchcliffe, and then people put up with it. But I know like at the Comedy Store, David walked around like he owned the place. And it's like one night he was roasting me in the manager's office. It's like, motherfucker, like, and the managers were even looking at him like, that's Earl, man. We all love him. Are you happy for Nikki Glazer? I don't really know Nikki, so I'm not unhappy. I mean, I can't say I wake up with a boner. Um, which comedian currently active as the lead? Well, probably Hinchcliffe, to be honest with you. I mean, he's a wrestling villain, heel, whatever you want to call it, and he loves it. What up? Bert Perkins, the legend of Bert Perkins in the fucking building. So outside of Tony, Kevin Brennan is he makes it. I love him, but like a lot of people don't. Um, I'm trying to think other comics. I don't do shout outs, only for money, honey. I'm trying to, most roast comics, are unlikable because they're talking shit about people. It's like, well, look at you. Um, Ari, yeah, Ari Shafir loves it, but Ari's likable. Ari's kind of like Rick Rude, where like Rick Rude was a heel, but you kind of rooted for him. Um, oh yeah, people think Roast Battle was mean or Kill Tony was mean. Um, the early days of Potluck at the Comedy Store, where Danish and O'Neill were the hosts, were brutal. Hinchcliffe would never admit it, but they bullied him. And then he probably was like, I'm going to do what they do, but that's someone else. I don't know. I mean, I know the name Steven Crowder, but I know virtually nothing about him. I mean, Leslie's makes it pretty easy to unlike her because, she runs the light. She just shows up. She'll do 40 minutes in that room, 40 minutes in this room. And she really doesn't care. Like, she really doesn't care. But, it's funny with her, the same people who get mad that she bumps him are the same people kissing her ass in the parking lot. But Moses, you got to understand what I'm saying. Ari is likable. Like there's something about him, the glee in his face when he's doing those jokes he does. You kind of like him. Just kind of like when Rick Rude would call the audience member fat and the guy would clap. So how tall is Leslie Jones? I mean, she's probably my height, 6'1". She's pretty tall. Um, I tell the same. You mean in the same set? No, I've never done that. So many comedians nowadays are just grifters. Well, I mean, there is a lot of grifting on YouTube. I mean, really, the advent of the super chat, um, has made people just come on here and beg for money and, Steel Toe and many others as well. Give me money, give me money, give me money. I mean, listen, I'm not going to lie and say I don't like it when people super chat me. It's nice to be paid for your time. But I think there's a lot of unfunny grifters that make it hard for the funny grifters. Um, does Leslie talk down to everyone else? I mean, I don't really know that, to be honest with you. I don't really fucking know what she's saying to people, but like, uh, you know, do you wish you were ever on SNL? I mean, I'm way too old to even have been considered, but I would have loved to have done Weekend Update. I would have done it in the norm mode. But I mean, that's the same, Dr. Noah, that's the same thing with Rick Rude. Rick Rude was, said all that stuff and about women and fat chicks and fat audience members, but he was a devoted family man. Like he loved his wife. He never took his ring off. He never cheated on her. Would Don Rickles get canceled? Probably. I mean, If you look at what was it called, Hey Dummy, live at the Sands, which was like 68 or 69 maybe. There's no way you could have put that album out today. I mean, it was just pretty, pretty cringy, which is why it was so great back then that he was really the only one who had the balls to say that, versus say like a guy like, I don't know, Joey Bishop, who was like pretty hacky and just, basically did, hey, the difference between airline food and peanuts is nothing. Don Rickles would go hard, and like when he yelled out on the CD to the Negro gentleman in the back, "Have a good summer." That's right in the middle of the Watts riots. So, am I missing a super chat here? Oh shit! Sorry, I'm behind on the chats. But Ian, $20, baby. Show me the money, honey. And Ian did. Good job, bud. Thank you, man. I'm doing my best. Um, so let me see. I missed a couple. Our ending moves. Yeah, 100%. Do you know own Benjamin? I do know both own Benjamin and Ron White. Sorry, I'm behind. I have gay lips, I guess. So Don Rickles absolutely was a legend, but you can't do those jokes today. Like, what did he say? He had some good jokes about Jews and that. He asked the Mexican waiter during the show, he's doing crowd work. He asked him a question, the guy didn't answer. He's like, yeah, you wonder why you end up being a waiter. I don't know what happened to Lisa Lampanelli. Thank you very much, Ian, for that. I appreciate that. I've only shot a gun once, and that was my cousin's 44 Magnum. What happened to Joey Diaz? He was big for a while, and then he just kind of disappeared. I think he semi-retired and moved back to Jersey. Who's better looking? Oh man, that's Don Rickles, 100%. Um, I mean, yeah, I think you could say anyone and Jeff Ross, and the other person's going to be good looking. I'm always writing jokes, always working on new stuff. Of course, when you see me live at the Comedy Store mainly, I do a lot of the same jokes because it's an old joke to me, but it's a new joke to that crowd. So, yeah, Joey loves Lee. I didn't really vibe with Lee on the one episode I did. I think it's episode 666. Because I know Joey, I don't really know Lee. So that was kind of a tough one for me because I don't know Lee's pacing or whatever. Like Joey's, I know. But I still had a very good time. Yeah, it was really fun. I think we did a real deep dive on Miami Vice. And, I love Joey. He's always been very good to me. And my friend in California slept with Chelsea Handler after meeting her on a dating app. They had a good time. He stayed the night at her place, and she completely ghosted him after that. No, I'm talking about Lee Syatt, not Bobby Lee. Yeah, women ghost. Yeah, I think what did Don Rickles say about Sammy Davis? And I still don't get this, but he's like, either you're black or you just fell into a bucket of M&Ms. But I think that in terms of ghosting, I got ghosted by a girl, I don't know, about 6 months ago. We dated for about 3.5 months. And, it's the strangest ending to, everything's going great. It's like, oh, hey, man, this is helping me get over who. 34H tits. Pretty. And we had the best week of our lives. Nothing. We never argued. Blah blah blah. And then she just messages me about 14 hours after saying I love you. Yeah, the vibes are off. So Um, what are you gonna do? Oh, men do it too. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying, Doctor Nova. Uh, I heal the building. Well, I mean, I heal the building. See, I mean, the building's all black, but at least the names on the wall are white. Okay. Uh, as I journey through the as I journey through life, Earl is in the background reading the followers' comments. Yeah, I read most of the free comments. A lot of people don't. That's like Jim Ross with Missy Hyatt. Yeah, you just don't. Women and men are weird. Do you people assume you're mega rich because you're a Skakel? Yeah, I mean everyone thinks I'm loaded, but I'm really not. Russell Peters is loaded. I have I can go to the supermarket um, tonight and buy a nice meal, but that's not loaded. Um, so I don't know. I guess it depends on what your version of rich is. Like in the neighborhood I grew up in, we grew up next door to Howard Keck. Now, probably no one in this stream knows who Howard Keck is, but when the medical building at USC is the Howard Keck Medical Building, you got a lot of money. That's money. Yeah, I mean, I probably have the largest hockey jersey collection in the world, but hopefully not for long. Can't wait to sell them all. Who couldn't use 300 to 500 grand? But I just sold one today for $500. Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, that'd have to be an XPW show. That would be funny, the George Floyd Battle Royal where every participant's black. Woo! That would get some heat. But yeah, it's a fun stream. Not too many trolls in here. Joe Rogan thinks Earl has more money than him. He probably does, and I think that's part of the reason, like, I haven't been asked to be on the Rogan show again because he's like, Skakel's rich. He don't need the money. He don't need the followers. I do, Joe. Well, Big Boss Man that's going to be a tough one to get Big Boss Man in. Latino, I don't know. I don't really, I'm an AEW man, chicken man. 3-3 game. I mean, Canada just seemed to take a lot of dumb penalties, and I think they left off a few guys on the roster that, I mean, of course, the Canadian goalie was the Kings prospect Carter George. And is Joe Rogan's stand-up actually funny? I mean, listen, when you sell out arenas doing it, you're funny. Like, yeah, I know he's just popular. Popular is me. Rogan, when you're filling out, hockey arenas and like Russell Peters and Jimmy Carr and whatnot. I mean, Jimmy Carr in the UK plays the same venues as the Killers play, the Royal Albert Hall. Like thoughts on Rampage being canceled? I mean, I'm down for it if they really concentrate on Dynamite and Collision. You have two good shows. Rampage, it sucks for these guys, but no one wants to see the Blade against, Kip Sabian. But it's like you feel bad for those guys because they're probably not going to get on Dynamite or Collision. So what do you do with them? Maybe throw them in Ring of Honor, but who the hell watches Ring of Honor? I mean, I do some OJ jokes. Yeah, I don't know about that, Queen On. I don't know about that. I mean, wrestling's pretty sanitary. I mean, I do like the Hurt Syndicate, an all black, basically, faction. I mean, it's not the first time it's been done, but I do like it. MVP's a great heel. My cartoon is on Adult Swim, HBO Max, and the Cartoon Network. Now, all right, someone told me Adult Swim and the Cartoon Network are the same thing now. So I don't know, but I believe the Jellies is still on HBO Max. I mean, they cut about 70 or 60% of their animation things. So I believe you can still watch, and you can watch it on YouTube. So just make up. Well, Theo's certainly found his lane. My hockey's my favorite sport, to be honest with you. Yeah. I don't make up too many stories because I've lived a fucking crazy life. So like all the gangbang stories, they're all 100% true. Is there any new storylines that can be used in wrestling? I feel everything is recycled. Yeah, every storyline is really just a variation of the bad guy screwing over the good guy, and then the good guy gets revenge. Um, so, well, I do like the Hurt Syndicate. Lashley's great. Shelton Benjamin is great. MVP is probably the best talker in the business. Tell us some stories or jokes. You got to pay the money, honey, for those. I just don't do free jokes on here. I read a lot of the free questions, but if you want me to tell you a detailed story, you got to pay the money, honey, like Ian. Um, you know, I mean, there's only so many ways. It's like Miami Vice. There's only so many ways you can spin a Cuban drug lord coming to Miami. It lasted 5 seasons. It's kind of like why The Wire only went 5 seasons. There's only so many shady drug deals in Baltimore that can happen. Um, so, that's kind of like wrestling. MJF, he's the classic Rick Rude, Mr. Perfect type heel. Is he original? Not really, but he's the best heel right now, I think. Um, so, um, yeah, Hogan was ahead of his time, no doubt about it. Well, I think that, yeah, 100%. In wrestling, there's just so many, like the Bloodline's been good because that's kind of was an original storyline of the family, the Samoan family tree. Cardi B, better areolas, Cardi B. I'll go with Josh Barnett, to be honest with you. Goobies. Um, I did a roast. They were on Crime Time was on the roast of the Iron Sheik. They were funny, man. Um, it's sad that was it Shad Gaspari died. Saving his own kid, drowned. It was like kind of that running back Joe Delaney, who couldn't swim, but he jumped in the pool to save a kid and he died. No, or was it who was it? The Fred Lane? Was it Fred Lane or Joe Delaney? I love the interview with Jesse Lee Peterson. Well, I definitely don't get more viewers than Pauly Shore. Pauly would have 3,200 people in here versus 32 people, but that's okay. The stream is building. Take what you get in the YouTube world, and then, but like with AEW, even if they brought in Shane McMahon, the corporate takeover, it's not the first time, you know, like when Ric Flair came in and became partners with Vince McMahon, that would be similar to what Shane McMahon would do if he joined AEW. So it's not a completely original idea. You look at every faction, most factions are offshoots of other factions, the Death Riders in AEW or, the Rogue Outlaws, DX was kind of a rip-off and an answer to NWO. NWO is basically the Four Horsemen, so there's it's really hard to be original in wrestling anymore. Bring back Jesse the Body. I didn't watch Saturday night's main event, but I heard I do love this Kiss zip up. I'll give you a model. It's very cool. You got the not sure what's on the back. Whoa. Message held for review. This is frightening to me. Bro, Vince was taking shits, and I don't know what that means, but I'll show it. I don't hide my stream in here. Yes, I do love me some Sting. Well, I think that, like there's very few Um, like Sting and how he was treated in WWE was horrible. It could have been done a million ways better. If the Brennans were Kiss, who's Gene? I would say Gene is Kevin, and Neil would be Paul, and you would be Mark St. John. Hello! You got any merch? I have one t-shirt on prowrestlingtees.com, but don't buy it because I think it's like $25 and I only get $7. So yeah, it's all good. I don't want to be one of those comics who, like I see some comics who just get passed at the Comedy Store and they have fucking merch. It's like, what? Yeah, good point. Do you count as world heavyweight title as King Booker? Are you ever surfing Tinder for company? I mean, I've done it. I've been on uh, Bumble, Plenty of Fish. They had Facebook dating. I tried that, but that was like nobody wants to meet on Facebook dating. They just want to talk. Yeah, 100% they're fucking me on the price. And I buy a lot of t-shirts from Pro Wrestling Tees. But, my friend Andrew Stovkin, he made the designs. It's actually a really cool design. Like it's like a picture of me holding like a belt, like a championship belt. But like $7. Like, is there an app for Beverly Hills Catholic women? Hello, yeah, it's called at Earl Skakel. Boing, 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 boing. Do you have any comedy videos on YouTube? I like to check out your act. Is a pig's dick pork? Do I have comedy videos on YouTube? Yes, what you do is you just go and go on my page, Earl Skakel, EarlSkakel, and there's tons of videos. Subscribe too. Yeah, I mean, Sting should have been put over in his first WrestleMania, and then you have him jobbed The Undertaker at the next WrestleMania. Bingo. Everyone walks away happy. Well, it's $30 to $100. What up, Georgie Cooper? What up, John? But like, yeah, I mean, if you're in Los Angeles area, I'm at the Comedy Store this Saturday night, 12:15. It's a good time there. It's the number one club in the country, in my opinion. Of course, people say, "What about the Mothership? What about the Stand? And what about the Cellar?" It's all comedy clubs are like comedy. It's all subjective. Georgie, I do remember you from previous streams. But Sting should have gone up against, I think, Randy Orton. They could have had Randy Orton bringing back the Legend Killer gimmick, and he have Orton. He makes too much money making movies. Why would you want to put your body through wrestling if you can just make the same, if not more, money doing movies? You have Orton go, I beat Hogan, I beat Flair, I beat Triple H, I beat Kurt Angle, I beat The Undertaker. And then you have Sting. They're probably not going to drop him from the ceiling because they're Owen Hart, but maybe he comes up from the ring like he did with Bischoff. And you didn't beat me. And then Sting goes over Orton at WrestleMania. Orton does the job so people know who Sting is. Because you got to understand, when Sting came to WWE, a lot of people didn't know who he was because, especially the younger fans, like from like 10 to say 25, they weren't watching TNA. So it's crazy for me to say that, they didn't know who Sting was. Like, what? But, Sting needed to be brought in and kind of introduced to that young fan base. So you have Randy Orton, who is in with that young fan base because they're familiar with him for the last 15 years. He does the job, and then I guarantee you that next Monday after WrestleMania, everyone wants a Sting shirt, a bat, gloves, the mask, the trench coat. They could have made anything with Sting's face on it. Instead, he jobs to Triple H, bald spots all over the place, makeup running down his face. I mean, he looked like Alice Cooper after a 40-song encore. Who the fuck would want his merch then? And Triple H was already in another angle with The Rock and Ronda Rousey 20 minutes later. Who would make it at WWF, WWE after the fall of WCW? La Parka, Billy Kidman, Vampiro, or Norman Smiley? None of them. Norman Smiley told me to fuck off at the Beverly Center once. I was going up the escalator. He was going down. I'm like, hey, man, do the wiggle. He's like, fuck off. Okay, cool. Good to be a fan. Did you know that the 1950s, 60s wrestler, 100% Gorgeous George influenced Ric Flair, superstar Billy Graham, Hulk Hogan? Did you ever do a set at Yuck Yucks? No, I've done a lot of clubs in Canada. Done some theaters with Rob Schneider in Vancouver and Victoria Island. Did Just for Laughs Comedy Festival twice on Roast Battle, not as a comic, which, I would rather do. I am a fan of Justin Otis. I don't know who that is. Vampiro, it's funny. He was at an XPW show I was at, and he hadn't shown up yet. So Sabu walks by me. He must have thought I was Vampiro. He's like, "What up?" I'm like, "What's up?" If Hee Haw was still on, would you go on? I mean, right now, I'd go on any show, to be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, La Parka was funny. There's a helicopter over my building. Something's going down. Message held for review. That scares me. Hulk Hogan got forced to win the whole. Yeah, Bubba the Love Sponge. Yeah, I mean, that and the N-word stuff, I don't think. I really only have one Jeselnik story, and that's when the first night I got back from Montreal for Roast Battle when I was a roaster, because the first time I was in Montreal, I was just the heckler. I beat Jesse Joyce, Tom Ballard, Jimmy Carr, lost to Sarah Tiana, and then I beat K. Trevor Wilson. And, a lot of people didn't think I beat Jimmy Carr, but, they don't understand the rules of Roast Battle. No rating. And so Anthony was talking to this girl. She looked like an agent or a manager. And I kind of slid by because I didn't want to interrupt. And he's like, hey, congratulations on beating Jimmy Carr. And I kind of looked at him like, a lot of people don't think I beat him. And I walked off, and he grabbed me by the arm, and he pulls me in and goes, you beat him. I'd rather have that conversation than, when Jesse compliments you, it's legit. The Vince stuff they left out a lot of stuff. Mel Phillips, fucking Ring Boys, allegedly. They didn't really go hard on Pat Patterson. And they could have waited for that. The Janelle Grant story. They could have held that documentary for another month and got that in there. But I'm sure WWE was like, hey, you want Monday Night Raw on Netflix? You ain't gonna put that on. I also like your Jim Carrey story. Yes, my Jim Carrey story, for those of you not in the know like the Chicken Man is from day one of Roast Battle, it was my goal to be kind of like Archie Bunker, say wildly inappropriate stuff, but have people like me at the same time. It was a total Archie Bunker ripoff. And so one night Jim Carrey's judging, and I was excited because I was a fan, and I went pretty hard that night. And of course, in the parking lot, everyone's fucking, up Jim Carrey's ass. And Jim sees me leaving. He breaks away from whoever he was talking to, and he just whispers into my ear, hey, Archie, where's Edith? Like, he got it. Like, that's how smart he is and how dumb the people in that room were. Is like, for 3 years, I was doing that character. No one got what I was doing. Everyone would say, you're doing Statler and Waldorf. I'm like, no, I'd never even watched that show. I was doing Archie Bunker, and most people would be like, who's Archie Bunker? And Jim got it within 20 minutes. That's another funny story. 100% AC/DC, 100%. One night, I think it was Red Grant, and he ran the Black Show downstairs in the belly room. And this probably isn't a mystery to anyone, but Hold on, another message under review. I see you're such an idiot, Russell. I'll expose your idiocy. Don't talk about my mom like that, you fucking dope. Um, and people wonder why I don't stream as much as I used to. Um, Red Grant, who ran the Black Show downstairs the same night as Roast Battle, Black comics did not like Roast Battle. I mean, I was playing a character called the House Racist. So after a particularly aggressive roast battle, um, Red Grant comes up to me and goes, "Hey man, what's with that racist bullshit?" I'm like, "Oh man, it's a character like Archie Bunker." And he looks at me and goes, "Who the fuck is Archie Bunker?" I'm like, ask Moses over there." And then I took off. Yeah, I mean, I was doing potluck one night, and this is in the dark era of potluck. Trust me on that one. And I mean, Brody was hosting, and this kid from La Jolla was bombing bad, and that's fine. A lot of people bombed, myself included, in that era of potluck. There's no audience; it's all comics. It really almost a precursor to Kill Tony, to be frank. Which is why I respect Red Bear and Tony, because they saw something that we've all seen for 20 years. And Brody got on the mic and goes, and the kid knew he bombed, so he kind of walks off the stage with his tail between his legs. And Brody's like, "Where are you from, kid?" And the guy really meekly's like, "La Jolla." And Brody was like, "Well, that drive just got a lot longer. Hello." And I've never seen the kid since. Will you do Kill Tony? I've done it 5 times. I probably won't do it ever again. It's just not my vibe. I really don't want to change, I really don't want to trade wits with William Montgomery. No offense. I think Archie Bunker was better than Tony Soprano. I mean, just because Tony Soprano had kind of been done before, in any mob movie you've ever seen. But Archie Bunker had never really been done before. But I see what you're saying. I don't have a Johnny Zapp story. I mean, sometimes in the OR, he would heckle Don Barris, and every single time, I'm talking 100% of the time, Johnny Zapp would bomb, and Don Barris would be like, "Give it up for Johnny Zapp. Always knows when to add a good line in." We got about 2 more minutes, guys. We'll do a nice, tight hour stream. Thank you to Ian for your $20 super chat. Unnecessary, but welcomed. I'm about to sneeze. Woo! Spas. I'm ending the stream in about a minute. Larry Dallas in Three's Company was great. I do love Larry Dallas, but that kind of had been done too. The horny fuck, the overly horny, best friend or neighbor. But Larry was very funny. Yeah, it's a nice, fun stream. Not too many trolls. I mean, let me see here. Sorry, I'm trying to get my. There we go. Was Roddy my favorite? I mean, I liked The Ultimate Warrior. I mean, obviously I was a lot closer with Roddy. I mean, Hulk Hogan was cool, although I'm blocked on Twitter by him. Any Dave Chappelle story? Yeah, one night I'm at the Comedy Store. I'm about to go on. I'm the closing comic. And Dave's coming up in the hallway, in the back behind the main room stage. There's a hallway. The comics walk back to the green room. And Dave says to me, "Earl," and I didn't even know he knew my name, to be honest with you. "Do you mind if I go on?" And it's like, what am I going to do? Say no? So I start going to my car because, he's known to do hour to 5 hour sets if he's feeling it. And Jen Kane, the manager at the time, comes running up to me as I'm in my car going, "What are you doing? He just called you up." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "He's about to just call you up." I'm like, "Did he call me up or is he about to call me up?" And Jen's like, "Get the fuck in there." Because they still had a lot of people in there. And they wanted to get some drinks and whatnot. And so I come running back there, and Chappelle's bodyguard is in the middle of the backstage area, and he thought I was a fan. I'm like, "No, I'm the next comic. I'm the next comic." And then I just hear Dave say, I think there's somebody next. And he just dropped the mic. So I'll never forget this. So I walk out on the main room stage, and when Chappelle shows up, it's packed. No one leaves. People come in the room. People start texting their friends. Blah, 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 blah. Dave's on. So the room is maximum capacity. 400 people, whatever it was. And I knew I had to get the first joke. You know, if I did not do well in that first joke, they were all going to leave. So I look at the crowd, and it's a hushed tone in the room. I mean, I can remember this like it is happening live right now. I mean, to have 400 people just looking at me like this. And I said, guys, I know what you're thinking. You just saw the greatest comic of all time. You think it can't get any better than this. And I might agree with you. But I'm glad I'm going on after him, because now I feel how the Chinese guy feels after going on in the gangbang after the black guy. And the room popped. Like, it's probably the best laugh I'll ever get in my life, because I was scared. The audience was scared. They were on the edge of their seats just giving me one joke before they took off. Yes, that is a Sting mask. And I did about 15 minutes. And I'm not going to say I killed, like, say, Joey Diaz. But it's the perfect joke to use when you're following arguably the greatest comic of all time. And, you know, it worked out. So, was that the Sting mask from Roast Battle? It's one of them. It's the one I kept. I bought, I think, 10 of them on WWE.com. And I got rid of them all after the botched entrance. That was in my battle against Benji Aflalo. And that was another battle that I was mad at, because Jeff, I know Jeff told Benji, listen, we're going to put you against Earl. You're going to beat him. And then I can take Benji to Comedy Central and go, hey, he just beat Earl, put him on to season 2. And that didn't quite work out to Jeff's plan, like most things don't with him and me. So I know I'm an AEW person, WWE fangirl. Sorry about that. But you can still come in the stream and subscribe, baby girl. WWE fangirl is a perfect name. I mean, I'm an AEW guy. You know, what can I say? You know, although I am happy for Cody Rhodes in the fucking house, baby. Leilani Montgomery in the house. You and Jeff should make up, man. It's not right. You guys got to break bread, bury the hatchet. Well, that's easy for you to say, Michael, because he didn't fuck you over on 2 TV shows and had me pulled off the roast of Adam. Well, no, I wouldn't, because he wouldn't mean it. And 2, you know, there's nothing he can do that's ever going to make the situation right. I mean, when you look at Roast Battle, I helped start Roast Battle. That's a fact. And, you know, my podcast, the first 2 years until Roast Battle got their own, was really the unofficial podcast of Roast Battle. And, you know, I went 4-1 on TV. I beat Jimmy Carr, and I never see the show again. 3 people I beat got all 3 seasons. Tell me how that makes any sense. So, you know, and I know this for a fact. This little inside baseball. Leilani, I'll be at the Comedy Store Saturday night. I think you said you're in the area. Let me know on Instagram if you want to come. But a lot of people don't know this, but every network had passed on Roast Battle. Every single HBO passed on it. Netflix had passed on it. Comedy Central already passed on it. And my battle with Fifi Dosh was so fucking good that Comedy Central executives were watching that battle, and they were like, okay, this is a show we want. because me and Fifi were tearing it up. We're just ripping each other. The judges were good. The wave was good. The Saudi Prince was good. Moses was good. The crowd was super hot. I did like a fucking wrestling entrance. So so what could Jeff do now that, hey, Earl, you want to write for free for the next Tom Brady roast? No. Um, well, no, I mean, Leilani said she's LA native, I think. So, I'm real. I keep it real. I don't bullshit. In a lot of ways, I'm like the ultimate warrior. He spoke his mind. He knew he was going to burn bridges, but so no, I would, and you're right. It's not good to hold resentment, but, you know, I think in my side of things, and people do the karma thing, let karma take them out. But in my side of things, it's just like, the business doesn't have to be like that. I should have been on all three fucking seasons. Uh, well, we don't mention dead names in here, Chicken Man. You know better than that. And it's not like being on all three seasons would have made me super famous. I don't care about that. It's about, hey, Earl's a big reason this show's on TV in the first fucking place. I don't know about that, Queen on. So, I'm just a very loyal person. And, I don't even expect loyalty from people that I'm loyal to, but I don't expect them to fuck me over either. So to answer those two questions, I'll never apologize, or I'll never, because he wouldn't mean it. 100%. That's why I keep it real, and that's why no one from Roast Battle ever comes for me, because they know I've spoken the truth. I'm not talking shit. I'm not calling him, making body shaming him, which I could very easily. I'm like, hey, he did this, this, and that. His manager Amy did the same. They're in cahoots. So there's really nothing that can be done that would ever make me happy, to be honest with you. Uh, but I think though that if I were to go up to Jeff and go, hey, let's bury the hatchet, man, it's cool. I'm just setting off a giant bat signal in the sky. Hey, you can fuck me over, and I'll apologize to you eventually. Fuck that, man. So what kind of scum sucker would ever betray that? And, a lot of people would. That's why I'm loyal to you guys. One day if there's ever like hundreds of people in this stream, I will always, be loyal to AC/DC, William Zoom, Gibb Smith. Are You Ready to Rock? Bert Perkins. Peter Chicken Man Brennan. Resentment has made Jimmy Cornette lots of money. Well, I don't look at it as resentment or bitterness more than it's just honesty. Which is why no one ever comes for Daddy, because I'm honest. You can't talk shit about someone who's saying facts. You know. You notice no one ever says I'm a liar. A lot of roast paddle idiots. They don't like my presentation. Although I can't. Most of them have come up to me, of course, not in Jeff's ear. But, hey, dude, we know you got fucking fucked over, but we can't really say anything. You pussies. Um, well, I mean, that's like it's unnecessary. There's lots of money in roast battle. There's lots of pussy we all could have eaten at the table. Well, I'm gonna have to see what Leilani looks like first. I mean, she knows how to contact me on the gram. So. Oh, I totally would. But see, that's why it would be a good interview with me and Joe, because someone would slip it in Joe's ear, probably Henschliff go, hey, bring up roast battle. Not that anyone cares about the show anymore, but they know I name names, man. I don't fucking sit there and go, well, this guy fucked me over, but I'm gonna say Jeff and his manager Amy. Like I name names, baby. So, um, you know, it would be a great interview. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would hope that one day I would get on Joe's show. But listen, let's be honest. I think he's had like 2,500 guests. If I'm not one of the more interesting people Joe knows, then I mean, I probably blew my opportunity to be on it. But that's cool. Joe doesn't owe me anything. He don't owe me shit. Would I like to be on it? Absolutely, I would. I think it would be a very fun show. Well, that's the one thing you can't do. Like you could tweet him and go, "Hey Joe, we hear, blah 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 blah," but he hates to be asked. Because I think Joe's attitude is, "Hey, if I want you on, you'll know." Um, yeah, and it's health shop. I mean, but I'm 100 times funnier than Shab, so I could. It goes back to what I was saying. Like when I got roast battle and I did well on the show, I had the comedy chops to take advantage of the opportunities that were presented to me. A lot of comics didn't. I did a show with someone who got the show. They got on TV. They had one battle. They did pretty good. And we did a show together with a famous comic, and they bombed their ass off because they were like 3 years into comedy. So there's that. I know he had two comedy specials, to be honest with you. Um, I think once you announce your special, you'll have a better chance to get on JRE. I mean, I would hope people would be supportive and go, "Hey, Earl's got a special. Why don't you have him on?" So um, aim for going on Shab's show. You're almost on his level. Shit, I won't do any show with Brian Callen, so I absolutely wouldn't do Shab's show. I would literally turn down that show. Hey, Brian and Shab want you on the show. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Um, I mean, I in terms of dealing with hecklers, I can't say I have seven. I have a lot. So, Brian was accused of something, and I know the accuser, and I believe the accuser. I'll just say that, to be honest with you. It's a he said, she said type of thing, but I know the woman, she ain't lying. But, I can't go any further than that because, I can't call him anything because it's all alleged. It's from 20 years ago, but I'm good. Um, so, well, there's nothing wrong with not keeping your dick in your pants, but when, the other party does not like the advance, there is something wrong with it. She says it was assault. He says it was a bad date. Who do you believe? It's 20 years ago. Um, Not really. I mean, I don't really hang with Bobby. I don't remember you, to be honest with you. Well, but you get into the situation of slimy behavior, predatory behavior. It's not illegal, but it's what it is, I guess. Um, no, that was Dalia. That's screenshot on super chats, Snapchats. I mean, Shab is legit funny on Rogan, but hang funny doesn't mean. Yeah, I mean, hang funny. A lot of people are, and that's when they get told, "Hey, you should do comedy." It's like it's one thing to make your friends laugh, but it's another thing to make a group of 400 strangers laugh. Um, well, listen, I'm not telling you guys to believe or not believe me, but I'm just saying I know the girl. She ain't lying. She literally has no reason to lie. No, Chris does not go to the Comedy Store anymore. Um, well, I don't think it was the lowest rated special ever on Netflix. Well, but it wasn't on Netflix. I think it was on Showtime. So it's very hard to um, uh, the lowest rated special. It's Showtime's a cable network. Netflix is a streaming service. So who has the it's tough to compare, but it definitely was not a highly rated. And then I think he did the second special on YouTube. So, um, well, I mean, my friend Kyle Anderson did a documentary on Dalia, and some of he had some taped phone calls that I don't know the legality of the consent. And I think in California you have to have two-party consent, but Chris did not come off well on these phone calls. I don't know, Yash. I mean, what is this? Anthony Robbins Power Hour? Yeah, but I think the whole time in that first special on Showtime, Shab had to look up. He'd do the joke, and then he would be like, he had that deer in the headlights look of, please think this is funny, and that's never a good sign. I do forget. So usually I'm doing really well. I'm not killing, but I'm doing well. And you get so pumped up that the adrenaline's flowing. You see a pretty girl in the room looking at you, and you kind of get brain fog for a second. Then you gotta. I've never completely forgot a bit, but like in my battle with Jimmy Carr, I had a joke about him being in great shape because of all those years running from his father. But the joke bombed because I forgot the first part of the joke. I was fucking scared up there, where I had to let the audience know that Jimmy and his dad had an estranged relationship. So that joke made no sense as I told it. But what are you gonna do? Ari pooped in Bobby's car. Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, there's no one who's Rogan at the store today. I'll tell you that much. But I would still go on Matan for sure. Um, uh, the mask behind me is the Sting mask. Have you abandoned a plan for a set and just improv? I mean, I do that a lot because you got to understand when I go on Saturday night at the Comedy Store, um, the crowd's already been there for 2.5 hours. And they've been waiting for probably close to 3 hours because you get there at 10, or if you want a good seat, you're there at 9:45. If the first show's not over yet, you're waiting. So by the time I get on 12:30, 12:45, they're tired, man. And so you can't just go in there with like a set fucking um, act. The crowd will just eat you alive. Um, I mean, I don't know if I would bounce off Matan. I mean, he's so much younger than me that but I'm good with working with people. Like, me and Moses had great chemistry, and I didn't even know Moses. He was a La Jolla guy, and I was, LA guy. So I think I'd do all right. Um, Ty Domi, I felt sorry for Ty. He went on before me at the roast, and some comics were reading off of a teleprompter. I was not. I had my iPad with me, but I didn't want to do jokes on a teleprompter because just in case there was a fuck up. And for Ty Domi, what happened was the teleprompter froze, so he was just stuck. Like he was paddling without a paddle. But he was a great guy. I met him before the show. We talked about Probert and all these great fights he had. Very, very, very cool guy. So have you been on SNL? I have not. I have not been on SNL. So, and I'm too old to get on SNL. I mean, I would love, 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 love to do Weekend Update, but they want younger people. Well, I mean, I don't know who Tim is, but well, I mean, most good comics were molested or drug issues or whatever. Um, so, you know, I don't know. I mean, it takes a lot of balls to do what we do. Um, and you tell you what doesn't take balls is to hit the like and subscribe button, babies. So that's it for the stream tonight. I appreciate you guys. Probably do another stream tomorrow night. You guys have been good to me. I appreciate the support, hitting the like and subscribe button and all that good stuff. Thank you, Half Hog Man. Thank you very much, Ian, for your generous gift. Thank you for subbing. Which comic? Probably Greg Giraldo, Richard Jenny, any comic that's killed themselves, there's always someone that you can reach out to if you're in time of need. Brody Stevens, a very tragic character. I will. I'm going to bring Kevin and Neil together. I think, but we're going to need a Chicken Man appearance. I love you too, brother. Yeah, Mitch Hedberg, there's a lot of tragedy in comedy, and Patrice O'Neill, just Ralphie May, just couldn't control his eating. So I love you guys, Earl Skakel, and yeah, Jack Knight. I mean, that one hurt me a lot because Jack, a lot of people didn't like Jack because he ran the light, which is like really like the number one thing in comedy that will get you not liked. But he would always give me a really nice intro, and this guy's a legend, and he's a mentor, and all that shit. Probably didn't mean it, but from what I heard, he was about to get me too'd by someone, and he just, did what he did. So I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, it kind of checks out. But he was going to be a star. Like he just had that it thing. Well, I don't think Ted Knight was. I don't think he committed suicide, did he? Um, so I mean, there's so many Charlie Barnett, one of my favorites. Absolutely a Greek tragedy. That's a guy who should have been famous, and instead he dies broken of AIDS. Um, Ray Combs, not necessarily a comic per se, but Family Feud. Here's the guy you think this guy's hosting Family Feud, which is a big show. Probably makes more money than he knows what to do with, and still wasn't good enough. So yeah, Angelo Bowers. But I mean, he didn't kill himself. He got hit by a drunk driver. So that's just fucking. Look at some of those people who died yesterday in New Orleans. I mean, look at the clip of they have a video of the guy when he first drives down the alleyway or the street, whatever it is. And he missed probably about 7 people by inches and then hit 7 people. So those first 7 people, it's just luck. And those second group of 7 people or however many, not luck. So, it's just, comedy's a dark world, man. It's constant rejection, constant pressure. Yeah, Drake Sather, another guy, just should have been much more known. Even when I first started touring with Rob Schneider, um, so, I was like back in 2009. Um, Rob's like, you remind me of a young Drake Sather, and I didn't even know who that was. And as a comic of 9 years, I should have. So yeah, Kevin Meaney. I mean, uh, just another set. I mean, we could go on for another 3 fucking hours. Um, about you know, in terms of like sad stories in comedy. Um, so yeah, I mean, Rob Schneider, like, he puts in the work. You might not like his political views, but every time I did a show with Rob, and he was married, so he had no interest in the other stuff. He'd go up to his room and put probably 50 index 3x5 index cards with joke ideas. So it was pretty impressive, his work ethic, given that he didn't really have to have it anymore at that point. Yes, the great Sandy Shore. I mean, how can I leave out Sandy Shore? That's probably a good way to end the stream. Uh, so, it's, comedy's a sad business, constant rejection, you know, the Great White Kyle, well, of course. I mean, that's, Crispy Chicken. I mean, Blue Iris, Francesca Hilton. Um, so, Tommy, yes, that's a very weird question. I'm not sure how to answer that. I also eat tuna tacos. Boing! Uh, yeah, you tell him, Spa. And for you trolls coming in, I don't read your trolls for free. You want to troll me? That's fine. I don't give a fuck. But you're gonna super chat them to me, bitch. Um, and when your name's on the wall at the Comedy Store, then you can talk shit about my comedy. Goodbye.